Here is my critique of a Sv3rige critique of an Earthling Ed video. Yeah, I think that made sense.
Hi everybody, the religious freak Earthling Ed.
Religious freak? The only time I've seen Earthling Ed speaking to religion is because someone is using religion as an excuse for harming animals.
I'm here at Harvard University today and I'm going to be asking Harvard students questions about equality and moral consideration and seeing what they think about
You're
whether
so
or not we should
freaking
include
pale,
non-human
man.
animals into our circle of moral consideration as well.
Sexy
And so the
guy.
first question
You look very pale relative to me. I don't accuse you of being anemic. You said yourself the UK has terrible weather. Ed lives in the UK. Hello? If you're going to accuse someone of being sick, you better provide some evidence. If not, we know that you're just talking out of your
should we kind of consider all humans within our moral consideration and kind of grant a kind of a blanket equality to everyone to have the right to life?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And what is it about that?
That's all he
humans that
talks about,
gives us that?
religion.
What attribute-
No, animal rights. You have to come out with such weird arguments to try and paint veganism in a bad light. You should give up already.
For me, the moral consideration of non-human animals is that our moral code dictates that humans should be granted consideration because we're conscious, sentient, have individualistic experiences of life, but then the animals that we exploit also.
Basically, just so you understand what's going on here, religion's created morals. It's the rules that we are supposed to live by. We are supposed to treat human beings in a specific way. And because we are also animals, it should apply to all of the animals.
Oh dear, your argument is completely flawed and absolute BS. Most religions, including Christianity, which you're speaking to here, have no consideration for animal rights whatsoever. You are completely debunked. Could really finish the video here.
Of course, vegans ignore that plant agriculture kills way more animals than any slaughterhouse out there.
No, we don't. You just say that we do. I am fully aware that there are incidental deaths caused by the harvesting of crops. Unfortunately, we have to eat something. Who are eating the most crops? 140 billion farmed animals or a few million vegans? Once we've dealt with animal agriculture, which is the #1 cause of animal deaths, hopefully farmers will then look at other ways to grow crops, minimising the incidental death of other animals. That is my hope.
They don't care about that. They only care about the slaughterhouse footage shown in the documentaries that brainwash them.
I didn't watch any slaughterhouse footage until well after I'd gone vegan. I went vegan once I realised that we don't need to harm animals, so therefore, it's cruel to do so.
Most of which is faked. This has been proven. They actually pay the workers to torture the animals.
Oh my God. One, it's been proven. Show me the evidence. Show me the evidence. Put it on the screen now so that I know that that's true. I know that it's complete bullshit because vegans do not cause harm to other animals. Therefore, they would be unable to do it.
Who pays them? The companies, organizations behind veganism. Yes, that's really how twisted it is.
People like big broccoli.
Anyway, this is what they do to appeal to weak and emotional slaves. It's mentally ill people who fall for it.
Weak? No. Emotional? Yes, we're emotional beings. We should feel emotions because emotions are there to be felt. Slave? No, I do whatever the hell I want. And I've never been diagnosed with or suffered from a mental illness. Thank you very much.
Religions are anti-nature.
Good job veganism's not a religion then. Not like some cults that sacrifice animals.
All of the morals are satanic.
Yeah, treating others with kindness is really evil.
We are obligate carnivores, and these man-made rules will only make human beings unhealthy.
If we are obligate carnivores, meaning we must eat animals in order to live, I would have died about 7.5 years ago. Hello? Do you even know what you're saying?
So I think it makes it difficult when we're like talking about a starfish, for instance, like where's sentience there? Like, you know, I think it just, the issue becomes a little bit more complicated. And
It's sort of a good point.
Feel like, you know,
That's a reason why we
that
keep
line should be drawn
cats and
maybe a little
dogs as
farther away,
pets.
I
We
do
can
think
only
that we
relate
feel
to
a solidarity with
carnivores.
humanity that we don't.
Yeah, we have absolutely no carnivorous instincts, which is why people are always disgusted when their cats bring back half-dead animals with their guts trailing all over the floor. Also, you missed out mice, guinea pigs, gerbils, hamsters, tortoises, etc. Lots of people have a deep affinity with the horses they keep. You don't get much more herbivorous than that.
Okay, so if we branch the question out further and we say...
all that he's talking about
outside
is
just
living
the
by
human
man-made
context, what about,
rules.
say, all non-human
It's very
animals as
messed
well?
up.
Should they be granted some sort of notion
That
of moral
is
consideration?
enslavement.
Absolutely.
No, it's not. Enslavement is when you exploit others for your own benefit. You know, like what you do to animals.
He
Why would you
wants
say
humanity to be enslaved. This is what he's promoting.
I think you'll find that Earthling Ed is a human, so therefore he wouldn't want humans to be enslaved because he would be enslaved. That's really, really idiotic if you just apply a little bit of brain power.
There's no way to win an argument because if you follow religion, which 99% of people do, and yes, most of them call themselves atheists, they're super religious.
People that are totally against religion are super religious. This is the sort of dumb mental gymnastics that one has to do to make themselves feel okay about hurting animals.
Morals were created to enslave us. That's why we learned them as kids already. There's a right and wrong, good and bad. Has anybody ever heard of that in nature? No, of course not, because it's man-made ideas.
You keep going on about natural and man-made, forgetting that man is born of nature. It is in our nature to be compassionate, which is why we have mirror neurons in our brains, allowing us to feel others' pain and suffering as our own. We have to go against our intrinsic nature in order to hurt animals, which is why people do not want you to see inside their slaughterhouses.
Most of the people he talks to, whether they call themselves atheists or Christians, all still follow the same religious beliefs as him. So they cannot even win an argument with him because they already have the same beliefs.
Well, I'm certainly not brainwashed by religion. I've never read a religious text in my entire life. I don't purposefully harm animals because I'm intelligent enough to realise that they would not like it.
Here's the problem with these two. He's a vegetarian, which means that he eats eggs and dairy, I suppose. Either way, he's getting a lot of the animal nutrients, which Ed, the anemic guy, is not getting. He's severely sick.
Just because you keep saying something does not make it a fact. Prove it.
The vegetarian doesn't understand that once the milk products would be gone, that he would be just as malnourished as Ed. Complete disconnection from nature.
Bit like your complete disconnection from nutritional science and facts.
I imagine it's a pretty bloody and kind of
By nature, I guess it is.
Yeah.
Right? So if they, let's say, cut their throats, right, in a slaughterhouse, when I say the word, like the phrase, we cut an animal's throat, do you think that objectively speaking that would be seen as a violent act?
I do think that's violent, yeah.
Right.
Perfect example. He admits to being a Satanist. He said that by nature it's bloody, meaning that he is against nature.
Wait a minute. You keep accusing Ed of being religious and getting his morals from Christianity. Then you take his use of the word nature out of context to accuse him of being a Satan worshipper. Which is it, dum-dum? Because you can't accuse him of being two polar opposites.
Whether they are officially part of a religion or not, obviously all of them are if they are part of veganism. It is a religion by every definition of the word.
Except for the actual definition, which is the belief in and worship of a god or gods.
By the way, the reason blood
Indigenous
flows out of the
communities,
animal
like hunting as
is to
a
nourish
source
and
of
hydrate
food
us.
supply is something that has been
It's
historically
the
done,
best
and I don't
liquid
think it's been. I think they're,
food
when
you could possibly
it's
drink.
done rightly,
No, the reason they bleed is simply because they're wounded. Blood, like every other animal product, is far from a good source of food. There is zero fibre in all the animal products. Therefore, there's nothing to feed the Prevotella strains of gut bacteria that make fibre into the short-chain fatty acids that feed the colonocytes. With no food source, these colonic mucosal cells have no energy with which to bind tightly together, which opens up their junctions, allowing in undigested particles of protein, causing allergies, immune diseases, and pathogens to get inside our bloodstreams. Ever wondered why short-sighted people such as vegetable police that choose to follow your advice can tolerate less and less and less and less healthy plant foods? There's your answer.
And a lot of them are actually anti-human.
And so how do we then, when we have an
So
abundance
for them,
of
of course,
options, how do we
veganism is
justify
perfect
paying
because
someone to cut the throat of an
they
animal in
can
that
watch
circumstance?
everybody get sick and die.
No, I mean I do.
Why does he keep having to put words into other people's mouths? I am not anti-human and I have never been anti-human. The only charity that I actually donate money to actually protects human children, for f***'s sake.
And they hate
It's
themselves,
definitely
of course.
something
Oh, of course.
Veganism stems from self-hate.
Nah, actually, I think that I'm pretty awesome. Guess again, you silly goose.
If I was to treat you humanely, what would I would be treating you in what manner?
I guess probably in the literal way, it's probably like as is rightful to treat another human. But I guess
That's
if
where it
the
derives
argument-
from, the word
right,
human.
sure.
But I guess synonyms would.
It doesn't whatsoever. Humane derives from how humans are by nature.
No, it doesn't.
Killing an animal is the most humane thing you could possibly do.
If you take every single thing that this guy says
The Earth is fair, exercise is unhealthy, and murder is the most humane act.
and flip it around, he actually makes sense.
Killing an animal is the most humane thing you could possibly do.
Yeah, I know.
If you want to torture them to adrenalize the blood before, then that's up to you. That's humane because that's what humans do in nature.
I've never seen that. If it's in your nature, then I realise why we can't see eye to eye. It's because you're psychotic.
I don't expect any vegans to understand.
I wasn't vegan for the first 38 years of my life. Not once did I consider it humane to torture an animal. Get help, mate.
For example, if you find a lamb hurt quite badly on the sidewalk and you bring it to a vet, which doesn't exist in nature, to heal it, that would be satanic.
Were you being satanic when you went to hospital because of that terrible infection that you got from eating dead animals? Because there's no hospitals in nature.
Do you think there's a compassionate or benevolent way to take the life of an animal if we don't have to?
He says we don't have to. That's of course wrong. There's over
guess it's like a
50
matter of perspective,
nutrients
right?
that you
Like, I
can't
do
get
think
from
that there
plants.
is-
Please, Sv3rige, not the bullshit 15 again. You know, the majority of non-essential nutrients which we make from plant precursors, much like the animals that you like to torture and eat. And why haven't you spoken to my video where I showed your day of eating and the 9 essential nutrients that we must get from our food? Why has that one slipped under your radar? Could it be because I'm right and you can't debunk it?
There's also another documentary called Land of Hope and Glory. Which
Almost
is,
all of
yeah,
the
sorry,
footage is
that's my,
fake.
English accent.
The 100 different clips in that film, taken from a range of different farms and slaughterhouses, vast majority of it is standard practice. Why would anyone seek to fake that?
It wouldn't even matter if
But at the
it
same time,
wasn't, and
was,
you would have to simply
traditional farming
buy
practice. So those
from
two I'd recommend.
Okay,
I mean, if you want to
different places.
Different places that employ the exact same barbaric standard practices.
And you should support local farms anyway.
Yeah.
Local farms that employ the exact same standard barbaric, horrible, nasty, disgusting practices.
These people are not
It's almost
fighting
infamous
for the
like, trimming
change
stuff.
of
So
how
that's
animals
when
are
you
treated.
Oh yes, we are, son. I know, because I'm one of them.
They're using this
Do you think that
to tell
behavioural
people not
traits
to eat meat
that
at
our
all.
ancestors
Doesn't
should set
even
a
make
moral precedent
sense.
for?
Sv3rige, I think you'll find that not killing animals is a very important step in the non-harming of animals. I don't believe that you are really this stupid. You're just acting willfully ignorant to try and make it seem okay to be cruel, which of course any non-psychotic person will disagree with.
Alright, so there you go. He completely ignores
Your complete bullshit list of nutrients that are either in a vegan diet, are non-essential, meaning that we, like the animals we eat, make them from plant precursors, are supplied by the sun, or is the one that is no longer in our environment because we sterilize everything, that 38% of Americans, mostly meat eaters, are deficient in, and is easily supplied by a supplement. The exact same supplement that is in the flesh of the farmed animals that you eat. Now, how about the
Heme, iron, saturated fat, trans fats, cholesterol, natural and artificial hormones, arachidonic acid, carnitine and choline that produce trimethylamine, NEU5GC, mTOR, heterocyclic amines, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, glycotoxins, nitrites, bacteria, endotoxins, viruses, dioxins, PCB, mercury, DDT, arsenic, phosphates, and antibiotics.
found in animal products?
Ed believes that human beings are not part of nature.
Ed fully realises that we're part of nature and that we're destroying our very home. It's not survival of the fittest anymore, it's survival of the harmonious. Therefore, we need to stop mass producing animals and destroying the environment.
And that we can eat whatever we feel like, even though every animal only has one natural diet, which they have to eat to be healthy.
Exactly. Any animal that looks like a cat, be it a huge tiger or a tiny little kitten, naturally eats meat. Anything that resembles a horse, be it a donkey or a zebra, naturally eats grass and vegetables. Given enough abundance, anthropoid primates, anthropoid meaning human-like, will eat exclusively of plants.
There will never be a way around it.
Exactly, so you better change your ways pretty quickly. Some people are dumb enough to think that your views on nutrition actually make sense. Click on this video now to continue having the thrill of your life. Well, maybe not the best thrill you've ever had, but definitely up there between Meat of the Matter having to take down his video on the NHS doctor and the time that Sv3rige had paint dumped over his head.